What's up, y'all? So this past summer, I probably attended one of the most interesting MAXs for Air Force ROTC field training, MAX C, but what I personally called it, MAX COVID.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
So like I just said, I attended field training during the pandemic, so my experiences will differ a whole lot from yours, unless the pandemic is still going on next year. In this video, I'm going to do a quick recap of my experiences and tell you guys what you need to do in order to prepare for field training. And lastly, I'm going to do a quick differences between Air Force Basic Training and Air Force ROTC field training at the end of the video. So if I do leave anything you guys wanted to learn about, leave a comment down below and I'll answer it to the best of my ability. Let's get into it. I graduated a few months ago, back in August of this year. So as usual, we all went down to Maxwell Air Force Base down in Montgomery, Alabama. It's probably the most humid place I've ever been to, so be prepared for the extreme heat aside from the humidity. It's only 2 weeks long, so it's not entirely too bad. Just remember, train hard and lead hard. Also remember, the Air Force ROTC field training mission is to train and evaluate cadets in Air Force institutional competencies, preparing them for the professional officer course. So expect this, you will be put into a leadership position at one point. I left for field training on August 5th. Typically, we would start training on training day 0, but as I mentioned earlier, MAX C was different. Technically, we did not start training until around day 3 or 4 because we all had to quarantine and basically wait for every single cadet to get their COVID test results back. But before we get into all of that, let me start from the airport. So once we got to the airport, we had to find our bags, of course, and then find the commanding officer to report into. And yes, we did have time to eat before getting into the in-processing line. The location of the officer will vary, so find other cadets that look like you and stick with them. Once you report in, you'll be waiting a good amount of time for everyone to in-process. Take note, the bus ride after that section, it'll take a couple hours, so be sure to use the bathroom and hydrate. Once we got to Maxwell and the location where we needed to be at, the whole atmosphere changed into something more serious. There will be yelling and a lot of commands will be spouted out to you, so be sure to listen well and move with a sense of purpose. You don't want to be that cadet that gets knife-handed on the very first, minute off the bus. Our first few days of MAX C consisted of being quarantined and a whole lot of Zoom training. Remember, like I said before, our days of actual field training did not actually start until around day 3 or 4. Here are some differences between MAX C and other MAXs of 2020. We had less real field training days because COVID rules were basically implemented for our MAX. We had to wear double-layered masks everywhere, even during PT, unless we were running. We also didn't get to do paintball, and we didn't even get to eat at the chow hall, so imagine that. And also, we didn't even have to bring our blues, so thank goodness for that part at least. Essentially, things were harder to some degree while making other sections a little bit easier. So what did I mean by easier? Well, for instance, our CTAs and FTOs were not allowed to go into our rooms, so graded things such as dorm room maintenance was not even implemented. And basically, a lot of other things that had a great impact on your field training ranking were also dropped as well, only because, the circumstances that we all had to go through. And in fact, I think that our field training rankings for this year, they're not even considered for this upcoming board. Okay, let's talk about the FTM real quick. Yes, it's good and all to memorize all that you can about the FTM, but I would recommend putting a little bit more emphasis on learning procedures. This will help you be more prepared for different scenarios such as the chow hall experience. And overall, it'll make things a lot less stressful for you guys. As for the FTM knowledge, all that's good for is learning your chain of command and the FTO interview, but that's just my opinion. There are a lot of tests you guys have to go through, but I cannot go into detail on what they are. but I can reference something to you guys which is essentially the same thing. Back in high school, I took Army ROTC classes, and every summer we had the opportunity to attend summer training. It was about a month long. It took place at Fort E.P. Hill, Virginia. During that training, we did confidence courses, LRCs or leadership reaction courses, rappel tower training, land navigation, and so on. Right now, all I'm saying, there's a high probability that you guys could be doing the exact same thing. Remember, train hard and lead hard. For those of you who are trying to go for the rated board, you know your field training ranking is something you should really care for. Like I said before, there's a lot of tests you guys are going to be doing throughout field training. I'm not just talking about paper tests, mental or physical, it's everything. There's a lot of emphasis on no matter what you are doing, you are constantly being evaluated. So keep that in mind. Also, as you guys know, during your FTP semester, during lead lab, you guys have the opportunity to give each other rankings throughout your flight alongside a rating from your flight commander and deputy flight commander. Same thing will happen during field training. To be honest, I feel like this had a major impact on my field training ranking, but then again, a lot of stuff was dropped from our max. Also, if you guys want to rank high between your peers in your flight, be that cadet that's knowledgeable, motivational, helpful. Overall, be that cadet that will be on everyone's radar. Don't be negative, stay positive. Everyone's going through the exact same thing. Basically, aim high. Let's talk about logistics real quick. The required items that we needed to bring, did I end up using or needing everything? No. And our max, we didn't have to bring our blues, so I can't talk too much about that, but I can definitely tell you guys, you will need to iron your clothes. Don't be that dirtbag airman that looks all raggedy and wrinkly. As for ABU or PT related stuff and OCPs for the future, it wouldn't be bad to have more than what is required. Like bring an extra pair or two of what those items are, because there is a chance you guys will probably lose your clothes when people have to do laundry, and I can definitely tell that from experience. Okay, how about miscellaneous items? If you guys want to bring extra stuff, go ahead. Cadets will probably appreciate you if you're that guy to have extra things such as lotion and bug spray. So go ahead. If it fits in the duffel bag, bring it. They honestly did not check what we had on us, so I don't think that matters too much. And also, some cadets did bring protective covers for their FTM, to protect it from like getting messed up during like rainy days. But I personally never had that problem. But you guys can. Also, if you guys do have the opportunity to, make something like this, I would go ahead and do so. This has a lace report, the 9 lines, and other helpful information. It's very good to have this on a certain training day. As for boots, I only had one pair and I survived the whole 2 weeks on that one pair. It did get rainy one day and I slipped in mud, but it wasn't too bad. But if you can, bring at least 2 pairs of shoes, especially like the jogging versions. I had steel toe, wasn't very helpful when we had to run in boots. So keep that in mind, be smart, unlike me. Final thoughts on Air Force ROTC field training. Food wise, let's say it sucked, like really bad. I swear we ate more MREs over there than actual real food, and when we had real food, it was the bare minimum. I swear I lost more weight over there than the actual BMT, and to be honest, it was actually the complete opposite of what BMT was. Also, do you guys remember that during FTP lead lab, you guys are assigned positions? It'll be the same thing for field training. You guys will be either assigned positions or be the ones to assign other people positions, so keep that in mind. Also, you guys will learn real quick, you guys will be writing memorandums every single freaking day while you guys are over there. So if you guys don't know how to write memorandums, learn it now. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. If I missed anything, remember to leave a comment down below and I'll get to you guys when I can. But now, I'm going to hand it over to my buddy over here to talk about the difference between Air Force BMT and Air Force field training. Alright bro, your turn. Alright, what's up y'all? So simply put, Air Force ROTC field training is a whole lot easier than Air Force BMT. But there are some caveats to what I just said. Like in comparison to BMT and Air Force ROTC field training, the mindset on training cadets and trainees are completely different. At BMT, you're more of a follower the whole entire 8.5-9 weeks you're over there in comparison to, being a leader at Air Force ROTC field training, because they're training people to become officers over there, so obviously you can have more opportunities to have a leadership position. At field training, there was a colonel who emphasized that Air Force ROTC field training should be renamed Air Force ROTC field evaluations, because basically you're not training over there, you're being evaluated to see how much you've learned the past 2 years, and they want to see all that stuff you learned the past few years and implement that during field training. At BMT, you're basically this individual who comes in with little to no knowledge, so basically you get thrown into the deep end on training day 0. From that day, you're basically learning about marching, drill, war scenarios, weapons, how the military works and how the Air Force works. But yeah, it's like a stark comparison to Air Force ROTC field training, where you had 2 years to prepare for field training, and it's just insane, And also during BMT, you're basically locked down the whole entire time with a face looking like this. But yeah, BMT is very depressing compared to field training. At field training, there were so many times where we were able to talk and just laugh with other cadets, even if the CTAs and FTOs were there. But at BMT, you do not want to show signs of life over there at all, because it's gonna suck very hard for you if they find out that you're having fun over there. But I digress on that part. So simply put, I would say Air Force ROTC field training is basically Beast Week from Air Force BMT. And why? Well, Beast Week is pretty much the cultivation of the knowledge and procedures you've learned throughout the past few weeks, and you're putting it on full display in order to survive that week. Also, you're not much of a follower anymore at that point. You can have opportunities to lead in order to prove yourself. Alright guys, so that's pretty much the end of this video. I hope you guys liked it and found it very helpful. Give the video a like and leave a comment down below if I did miss anything you guys want to learn about. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe button for more awesome videos just like this. I also have an AFROTC video, so if you guys want to learn about that, it'll be down in the description below. And as always, new adventures ahead.